In this video, here's what we'll cover. What NDIS psychology is. Who can access it? What a psychologist provides. How it is funded. Assessment and access. Picture a family sitting at the kitchen table with an NDIS plan open in front of them. There are budgets, categories, and terms that nobody ever explained. Somewhere in that document sits a support that could genuinely help, and they have no idea how to use it. I meet families in exactly this spot all the time. The National Disability Insurance Scheme is Australia's way of funding support for people with a permanent and significant disability. Psychology is one of the supports it can fund. Yet it's also one of the least understood. People often ask me the same questions. What does a psychologist actually do under the NDIS? Who can access it? And how is it paid for? In my practice here in Vista, I've spent more than a decade working inside disability settings, and this work has been some of the most meaningful of my career. So let me walk you through it simply, the way I wish more people had it explained to them. So who can actually access psychology through the NDIS? It comes down to how a person's disability affects their daily life, and it usually appears in the plan for a few main groups. The first is autism, one of the most common disability categories in the scheme, where psychology can help with anxiety, mood, emotional regulation, and daily living. The second is intellectual disability, where I can assess thinking and everyday skills, and contribute to behaviour support. The third is psychosocial disability, which means long-term difficulty arising from a mental health condition, where ongoing therapy and capacity building can help. The fourth is acquired brain injury, or ABI, where psychology supports thinking skills and the emotional adjustment that follows. And the last is other disabilities, where there's a real psychological or behavioural component that belongs in the plan. For a support to be funded, it needs to appear in the person's plan, either as its own line item or under a broader budget category. Access to the scheme itself begins with a referral and an access decision, and from there the goal is making sure the right support is written into the plan in the first place. Once psychology is in the plan, what can it actually provide? In my practice, there are four main types of support. The first is psychological therapy, using evidence-based approaches like CBT, ACT, and mindfulness, for things like anxiety, low mood, and coping with change. For autistic clients, I adapt how I work, using clear language, structured sessions, and written summaries. The second is functional capacity assessments, which are detailed written reports describing how a disability affects everyday life, from self-care to work and community access. The third is behaviour support, where we work to understand what a behaviour of concern is really communicating, and build gentle strategies around it. And the fourth is capacity building, which is about growing everyday skills, like emotional regulation, social connection, and supported decision-making, so a person can live more independently over time. Each of these can look a little different from one person to the next, because the whole point is to fit the support to the individual. A question I hear a lot is, how is any of this paid for? Psychology is usually funded through one of a few budget areas in a plan. The most common is improved daily living, which covers supports that help build daily skills and participation, and this is the usual path for therapy. Another is capacity building for improved relationships, which can fund work on emotional regulation, social skills, and relationships. And support coordination budgets can help arrange psychology services, though they don't pay for the therapy itself. The NDIS sets maximum prices in its published catalogue, and I follow that current pricing for every NDIS funded service. If you're self-managed or plan-managed, you can book with me directly. If you're agency-managed, I can be registered as a provider through the portal. An assessment with me is a thorough, multi-session process, not a single quick appointment. We start with an interview to understand your history, your daily life, and where things are hardest. Depending on your situation, I may use standardized tools, review your existing reports, and then write a clear report that both planners and families can understand. Where it helps, I liaise with your support coordinator or NDIS planner so my findings can be put to good use. If getting to Bella Vista is difficult, telehealth by phone or Zoom is available for much of this work, though some in-person testing may still be needed. And because I speak Hindi, Marathi, and Punjabi as well as English, Families from South Asian backgrounds can go through all of this in the language they feel most comfortable in. If any of this sounds like you, or like someone you care for, please know that this support is there, and it's designed to fit real life. You can read the full guide, or book an appointment at our Bella Vista practice, Potentialz Unlimited, using the links in the description below. And if things ever feel unsafe, please reach out to Lifeline or 000 straight away. Before you go, here's a quick recap of what we covered. What NDIS psychology is. Who can access it? What a psychologist provides. How it is funded. Assessments and access. And one small thing that really helps more people find this. Subscribe for weekly mental health explainers. Like this video if you found it helpful. Share it with someone who might need it.